Most men over 60 are aging faster than they should. Not because of genetics, not because of time, because of 6 daily decisions they are making without knowing the biological damage each one is causing. Last year, researchers at King's College London studied 2,400 adults and found that chronological age, the number on your birth certificate, had almost zero correlation with biological age. Some 70-year-old men had the biology of a 50-year-old. Some 55-year-old men had the biology of a 75-year-old. And the difference was not genetics. Identical twin studies confirmed genetics accounts for less than 25% of how fast you age. That means over 75% is determined entirely by what you do every single day. So here is the question nobody is asking. What are the men who look 40 at 65 actually doing differently? I surveyed 100 of them. And what came back was not 1 or 2 habits. It was a remarkably consistent pattern of specific daily decisions that virtually every single one of them shared. Before I get into it, drop a comment right now telling me where in the world you are watching from. I read every single one. Now let us get into what these men told me. Number 1, they never trained to failure. When I asked these 100 men about their training, I expected to hear about brutal intensity, grinding past limits, no pain, no gain. Not one trained to failure regularly. Here is why that matters. Training to failure in men over 60 chronically spikes cortisol beyond the productive range. It suppresses testosterone, impairs muscle protein synthesis, and destroys the next session before it even begins. Research from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research confirmed that stopping 2 to 3 reps short of failure produced equivalent or superior muscle growth in men over 60, while causing dramatically lower cortisol elevations. Same muscle stimulus, a fraction of the hormonal damage. Every single man also performed 10 to 15 minutes of deliberate mobility work before training. Hip flexor lengthening, thoracic rotation, shoulder capsule mobilization. Research confirmed this measurably increased muscle fiber recruitment during compound movements. More growth from the same exercise. Mobility first, hormones protected, failure avoided. That is the training philosophy separating these men from everyone aging beside them. Number 2, they ditched traditional cardio completely. When I asked about cardiovascular training, I expected treadmills and cycling. What I heard instead stopped me. Virtually every man had eliminated steady-state cardio and replaced it with loaded carries. Here is the biological reality. Traditional moderate-intensity cardio in men over 60 significantly elevates cortisol and competes directly with muscle protein synthesis. The result is that lean, but flat, muscle-depleted physique chronic cardio produces in aging men. Loaded carries produce a completely different response. Pick up genuinely heavy dumbbells or kettlebells and walk 30 to 40 meters. The posterior chain fires continuously. The core braces throughout. Grip strength, one of the strongest predictors of longevity according to research in the British Medical Journal, is trained directly with every single step. Research found that loaded carry variations produced acute testosterone elevations, comparable to heavy compound lower body training, without the cortisol burden and without the interference effect. 2 to 3 sets of pharma carries finishing 2 weekly sessions. That is the cardiovascular protocol of men who look 40 at 65. Number 3, they all corrected one blood marker their doctor never mentioned. Every man in my survey had identified and corrected one critical marker that most doctors either dismiss or never test for. Vitamin D3. This is not a bone health supplement. Vitamin D3 is a steroid hormone precursor directly influencing testosterone synthesis, muscle fiber contractility, and the gene expression governing inflammation and cellular repair. Research from Hormone and Metabolic Research found that men with optimal D3 levels above 50 nanograms per milliliter had testosterone levels averaging 20% higher than deficient men in the same age group. Every man supplemented with 3,000 to 5,000 IU of D3 combined with K2 daily. Get your D3 tested this week. Not next month. This week. If it sits below 40 nanograms per milliliter, correct it immediately. This single intervention produces hormonal changes that compound into visible physical results within 90 days. Number 4, not one watched morning news. Not one man in my survey consumed news media in the first 60 minutes after waking. When I pressed them on this, the answers were more scientifically specific than I expected. The cortisol awakening response, the natural hormonal surge in the first 30 to 45 minutes after waking, is the most critical hormonal window of the day for testosterone regulation. Managed correctly, cortisol peaks and drops cleanly, creating the environment where testosterone operates effectively for the next 12 to 14 hours. Disrupted by threat-based information, which is precisely what news media is designed to deliver, that cortisol spike amplifies and prolongs. Research found that psychological stress in the first 30 minutes after waking produced cortisol elevations persisting for up to 6 hours. 6 hours of suppressed testosterone from 20 minutes of morning news. These men are not uninformed. They are strategically timed. Protect your morning cortisol window like the physical asset it is. Bonus point: the nightly ritual that doubled their growth hormone release. Between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., your pituitary gland releases the largest growth hormone pulse of the entire 24-hour period. The size of that pulse is entirely determined by what you do in the 45 minutes before sleep. Every man followed 3 non-negotiables. First, no refined carbohydrates within 2 hours of sleep. Research found that insulin elevation in the pre-sleep window blunts the overnight growth hormone pulse by up to 75%. 3/4 of your primary overnight muscle-building hormone eliminated by biscuits before bed. Second, 30 to 40 grams of casein protein 45 minutes before sleep. Cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. Slow digesting, feeding muscle protein synthesis all night without suppressing the growth hormone pulse. Third, 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate alongside the casein. Research confirmed that magnesium in men over 60 significantly increased deep, slow-wave sleep, the precise stage where the growth hormone pulse is largest and most sustained. 90 days of this ritual and the overnight biological restoration will show up on your face, in your muscle fullness, in your body composition, and in the energy you bring to every single morning that follows. 4 habits, 100 men. A pattern too consistent to be coincidental, because it is not coincidence. It is biology applied with daily precision by men who decided that decline was a choice and not a sentence. The men who look 40 at 65 are not exceptional people. They are consistent people who started and refused to stop. Now it is your turn. If this video gave you something real, hit the like button right now and share it with one man who needs to hear this. Subscribe and ring that bell, because every week we go deeper into the science that transforms how men over 60 train and live. Your next video is already on screen. Go take what is yours. Age bold, train hard, live strong.